Years after the terrifying events at the Overlook Hotel, Dr. Sleep picks up the story of Dan Torrance, now an adult struggling with the lingering trauma of his childhood. Like his father before him, Dan possesses the Shining, a psychic ability that connects him to the supernatural. In this new chapter, Dan must protect a young girl named Abra Stone, who shares his extraordinary gift. The stakes are raised when they encounter the True Knot, a sinister cult that feeds on children with the Shining to maintain their own mortality. Having greatly admired the theatrical release of Doctor Sleep, I was eager to watch this director's cut. Clocking in at 3 hours, this version extends the film by 28 minutes and introduces six distinct chapters that structure the narrative thoroughly. These additions enrich the experience by deepening the backstories of key characters, particularly Dan Torrance. We see more of his struggles with addiction, his search for healing, and his efforts to find peace with his past. Equally compelling are the scenes expanding Abra's family life, which ground her character and make her more relatable, and raising the emotional stakes in the film, and especially for the Abra's character as well. Most notably, the cult known as the Tuna receives more screen time and context, their eerie mythology fleshed out in fascinating detail. What elevates this cut for me is the intensity and darkness it embraces. The additional footage makes the movie meaner and bloodier, a welcome change that enhances the horror efficiently in this movie. And I like that it's more meaner and also slightly bloodier than the theatrical version. One of the greatest triumphs is the prominence given to Rose the Hat, the cult's charismatic and terrifying leader. Rebecca Ferguson's portrayal is magnetic, chilling, and complex. She effortlessly steals every scene she's in, blending menace with unexpected charm. It's a performance that absolutely deserved at least an Oscar nomination. I do, however, wish the film had explored more of Wendy Torrance character. While it subtly hinted that she had passed away, her character feels a little bit underdeveloped in this sequel, and I believe just slightly more backstory or tributes to her presence would have further enriched Dan's narrative and emotional depth. There is backstory of Wendy's character in this movie. It's just I would have liked more. The pacing of the director's cut is intriguing, though it may divide some viewers' attention. The first and last acts of this movie build suspense and also ramp up the scares effectively, capturing the eerie atmosphere fans accept from the Shining movies. However, a large middle section focuses more on story development and less on traditional horror elements. This shift temporarily moves away from the spine-chilling ethos established earlier, but it works because the narrative remains compelling and gives the characters room to breathe and develop. We also know more about these characters. The flow of the film feels deliberate and balanced, making for a rewarding watch overall. In summary, the Doctor Sleep Director's Cut is a richly laid film that enhances the original with more depth, complexity, and intensity. And it enhances the theatrical version, I would say. It also balances horror, character development, and storytelling, skillfully delivering a satisfying sequel to the legend of The Shining. For anyone who appreciated the theatrical version, this extended version is a must watch. I give this extended version a solid 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it, and if you're on the fence about watching the director's cut, because you might think it's a bit too slow or might even be slower than the theatrical version, don't worry, because if you had answers that questions that needed answered in the theatrical version, it might get answered for you in this director's cut. So do give this director's cut a watch if you enjoyed the theatrical version. If even if you didn't like the theatrical version, give this director's cut a watch because you might actually like it more than the original theatrical version. If you like this sort of content, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel as I will be uploading new and old horror movies in the near future.